Please turn to page 7 of the prayer book. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, and sin and destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed and sin and destroyer, the glorious conqueror, subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. The founder, re-endowed, and sin and destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed and sin and destroyer, the glorious conqueror, subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed and sin and destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed and sin and destroyer, the glorious conqueror, subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. We know, supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then I prostrate, with pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Thus free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. A Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. A purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path to sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of gods, protector's heart, to tip of this fresh, pure, white heap, cut like cloud, O Lobsang Drakpa, Dharma's omniscient king, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable Guru, smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit, field for my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables, your eloquence speaks his body, fame, glory, outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit, non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind. I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what has contradicted 3 vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned 8 mundane concerns, made life essence-full. Protector from depths of our heart, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Noble gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your dharma kaya sky, pray loose a rain of as profound dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that I've here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make venerable Lobsang essential teaching, specially signed forever. May Tse Wei Der Chen Chen Rezik, Dream Make Yam Pei Wang Po Jam Pel Yang, Tu Pung Ma Lu Jom De Sang Wei Dak, Gang Chen Kei Pei Tu Gian Song Ka Pa, Lob Sang Rak Pei Jia Plus O Wadem. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted 3 jewels. Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the 5 aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? As he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows: Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this. Subsequently, looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the 5 aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomena. There is no I element and so forth up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in a state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Dayata, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the three places, Dakinis. Tayata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisoha. With the power of truth of the exalted three-jewel speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, shante kuriya soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse harmful conditions. May all be conducive in perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Saji Paki Shuxing Me Tok Tram Ri Rop Ling Ji Ni De Gyan Pari Sangye Jing Du Me De Owa Gidro Kunamda Jing La Che Parsho Je Tsun Lama Dampa Kyenam Ki Che Kukala Kyen Se Trin Drigne Jita Tsampe Dulje Zinma Lazap Kechaki Jahar Pawap Tu So Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami Choran Choke Chonam La Janchu Badu Dagni Kapsu Chi Dagi Chunyan Ki Pesonam Ki Drola Penche Sange Drupa Sho Choran Choke Chonam La Janchu Badu Dagni Kapsu Chi Dagi Chunyan Ki Pesonam Ki Drola Penche Sange Drupa Sho Jonan Choke Jonam La Janchu Badu Dagni Kapsu Chi Dagi Chunyan Gi Pesonam Ki Drola Penche Sange Dropa Sho.
Welcome back to the Gyume.
really? Oh, yeah. He just came from Nepal. Sunday. So he have jet lag. He came to Sunday here when we are puja. He said he just.
I thought the Lorig was only here until 4 o'clock. So I told my wife, to bring my son and come to the airport and then come straight here to see
Yeah.
before he gets collected.
Yeah. He's very effort. Good.
So no, I took my nap already. So my jet lag is.
Yeah, he does. You must take. You already took enough, then it doesn't go away a couple of days. You have to hard work today, 2 days, then they will go away. Anyway, welcome back. After you gone, we didn't go through these checks. We just how many weeks we have? 2 weeks? Really? We did 3 or 4 weeks. Oh. Yeah, we need to review. Then we all fail. More discussion than more doubts. Anyway, it's good. Okay. It's very cold outside. This road's not bad, right? Yeah. Anyway, it's good. You guys' effort. Still 7 o'clock. Still not yet dark. It's coming. Summer. It's nice. Anyway, we are very good to relax this last week. Is it last week or this week? What do you call it? It's the last week. Then everyone very effort, hard working. Things I think go very well. We have also good puja. Then what else? Lord Snow. Did you go yesterday walk? Oh, you guys didn't stop. The governor said, don't go walk. Stay at home. But you guys doesn't listen. But I think they make very serious, but not that bad. Right? Yeah. It's a little heavy. It's not really heavy, but it's good, On one hand, it's good, Be good for environment. But last year we don't get much snow. Summer we don't get much rain, It's good, Good to, summer terms like real summer. Winter terms like real winter. It's good. Otherwise, look like sometimes summer, sometimes winter. Then people confused, then body confused, then bigger sick, then we complain. Then destroy our peaceful minds. Then create a lot of problems. Like that anyway. It's the what are 4 elements? 4 elements? You cannot do anything. The problem over there, they change our 4 elements. We have no power. Otherwise, we already make a lot of wars. But this is, nature of the 4 elements. Then, and the usual, like Tibetans say, when we got some blessing pills, something put their head, there's something, Tibetan called tree, I don't know English, but what is it? Bath offering, like that, they say, oh, I feel better. There's, oh, I feel better, oh, it's good. Then their mind be more clear, more happy. And those obstacles also like go away. They believe like that. It's really strong belief. There are also like some Chinese in Asian, most like that, and the Westerns are like that. You guys like that? Not really that. You guys like study and meditate, or is helps for my helps for my mind, right? It's two different ways, Buddhism or practice Buddhism or benefit for the person who practice two different ways. Therefore, like Western, there's tradition or we study this other. Like His Holiness always said, like 24th century. But it's not like really like that. Like we Tibetans, like Asian people study it. It's just like tradition. Like they just believe like that. But they both benefit. I think maybe more stable to like 21st century, because you really understand deep, then you can get the meaning. And there's problems, like that. Younger generation, Tibetan younger generations. Like I think all Asians, I go to all different Asian temples here. Like we don't see much younger generation. The most old generation. Therefore, young generation have not very interested. They are not like believe like so many things to hanging out these times. Then they don't study. Then they are like bit on there. Therefore, I don't know how that works. Maybe hopefully to getting better. Then when we have some problems, then during that time, your mind very like heavy, unhappy. During that time, some change it. Try to remember it when you have a good time. We have good time, right? Good things happen. Try to remember that. Then that makes your mind for a little bit like sport. How is it? Like make, how is it? Increase? Like big power, like our car is how is it? Wheel? Car's wheel? The how is it?
Recharge.
Yeah, recharge. Like body is very low, then we recharge, and like full like that. This His Holiness always, when we have some difficult situation, our mind very, unhappy. During that time, try to think about when you have some good things happen. Try to remember that. It makes you like recharge. Otherwise, if your really mind is very, weak, you think about that more, then they become more weak, more sort of. Therefore, like that kind of situation, His Holiness always try to remember to when you have good things happen. Then when your mind's very exciting, become quite exciting, so happy, maybe too happy. Then you think about like problems when you have difficult situation. Then your mind also a little bit calm down. Like that, this is different techniques, different ideas. Therefore, purpose to the study Buddhism is try to make our mind a little bit more stable, more, concentration. This is for our goals, right? Therefore, if you really think about this, and happy or suffering, both, depends our mind, right? If your mind is very powerful, also we have so many different kind of minds. I saw one documentary. They mix the person has two different thoughts. And one man say, okay, we have to do that. Another person, don't do that. Then his guy, like example, okay, I'm going, there are so many different things that happen, I don't know. What's the example? want to buy this. Another man says, no, don't buy. We don't want to use it. Neither I want to buy this. Another man says, no, it's too expensive, we don't need it. Then another man, they're two different minds, like mind fighting. Therefore, this time we have to very important to identify which one we follow. Therefore, when we study all different kind of minds, all the different minds are fighting. One mind says, oh, I want that, no one says, no, that, no one. They all just come together, everyone just bum, bum, bum. That's very important, which one we can follow. In order to like that, we need to know all different kind of minds. All the different mind makes different jobs, different activities. Then it's easy to also control or easy to not follow. Right? Like that. Anyway, then I'm not talking too much. We do a little bit more. Today we have to go some couple pages. Go down 5-6 pages. What page number were you reading last week? 15 something you guys say?
We had to read from, I think, page 9, top of page 10 to top of page 15. That was just the minds, looking at the minds.
Yeah, different minds. Do you guys read? Do you have any doubts? If you have doubts, we can just discussion there, okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't fully understand one of the 5 similarities, the one about substance. That one's unclear to me. Similar substance.
Good. That's good.
So we'll start from there today, okay?
Okay? 생각도 들은 말에 진도. 아니 다 될어야 아니 수대 남방 가서 세들라 셰트마도 니도 왔어. 뭔가 전에 셰트도 뭔가 그리는 셰트 니도 왔어.
So regarding the 5 similarities, there are 2 different rights, 2 different way of explaining that. So one is according to the compendium of treasure of knowledge, and another one is the compendium of treasure of knowledge, right?
Right?
Abhidhamma Kosha and Abhidhamma Samuchaya.
대리다 다 시당 샘도 샘식사도 샘도 샘식사시. 아니 지 가로 도백간에 딱 가가자고 그러고 셀레이 간에 가가자고 그래서 시간 내가 제당 전에 말하고 영어를 들어와 뭐지라 도반데들라고 왔어.
So the mind and mental factor are of one entity, and one entity with different isolations. So what it means is they have the same nature, same entity, but they function in different ways. That's why they are 2 different things.
Okay. 근데이다 간지 샘도 샘지다 거기는 냠도로 되겠어. 냠도 되겠어.
So therefore, the mind and mental factor are always together.
근데 내 순대 남방 가서 해도 근데 딱 군이 집발해서 해도 그래. 그때 오지나 군이 좋다 집발해서 해도 그래.
So, it's the reason for giving these 5 similarities is that to mention that these 2 are same or similar.
그래봐. 근데 이제 다 내가 아는 게 뭐 전에 손서라 안에 댄스, 무반수, 남반수, 딘수, 젠수도 왔어.
And then here, when it's explained in the treasure of knowledge, it says the similar support, similar object of observation, similar aspect, similar time, and similar substances.
그래봐. 하고서 와. 아니 다 댄스에서 해야 돼. 그래서나 아니 반나 무시다we나 무시 코랑기 왕보 가르라 땜바이나 대인 코드쇼에 생주대 왕보들 땜바레스.
And so support, you understand that, similar support. Support means like the basis on which it's based. So whichever, like for example, whatever kind of organ that the eye consciousness is based on, the mental factor in association with that primary mind is also based on the same organ.
근데 샘도 샘이 디디찌를 제단 디디찌를 제요 그래서 와 다들 tomala 먹지 된다 다 무시다거나 그나 즈르 무시다거나 가르치는 즈르 옹벌 된 제와라 왔어.
So the eye consciousness, like observing or eye consciousness, apprehending a form, comes from the eye organ.
Teresa ten code show semju tayang ani zuzo omar ne kewares ten soda teres wa.
And so, so therefore, the mental factor in association with that primary mind also, comes, from the same eye organs.
Teko plela dos.
That's easy to understand, right?
What teach? Ta ten so mi basu na ane semji kala mi pe yetele semju ki jang mi pe na mi basu bare. Ta sem kora ye karile mi ba semju tiya mi tele mi res wa.
And then regarding the similar object of observation, so observation means like the object that it observes, right? Or object that it's looking at or holding or whatever we call it. So when it's holding a same, when the mental factor, the primary mind is holding a particular object, then the mental factor in association with that primary mind is also holding the same object.
Pena kapdala mi be sem to sem di chawala sem ju ting kapdala mi chi pares.
And so, like, for example, if the mind is, for example, like the eye consciousness is looking at the cup, and so that's the cup becomes the object of the observation, of that primary mind. And then any mental factor in association with that primary mind is also looking, holding that cup.
Pe chashana kapla mi shi kapla mi wa yamba chi. Tate kap kawo yamba na po yamba kap yamba tanya jingde sem ju jagi yor.
And so, like, it's the primary mind, is observing the cup, but then, so then the mind that sees, the cup, as big, small, white, blue, and so forth, is the mental factor.
Pe chachana da pe chasan rogi hago mo pe na ngado lega ro che na lega de tambo ma ta lega kodi chingi boss ji ro wa boss de da ngado lega chingi chasan lega mi ta mi ba chi par was lega kari na tela chasan ko focus che chi par was de no.
For example, I don't know if this example follows in every aspect or not, but when we're doing some kind of work together, right? Our boss and ourselves, when we're looking at the work, we all are looking at the same work, right? But then when we do the work, it's different. The boss does different things, and we do different things like that.
Right? What pet the jaja daman rogi hago me na kaje tambo lega kudi sengi to no the boss chogir wa te sem ro ba chi ta boss te chi chiwi kabla ani lega chinga ngande chi ko ka chogir was.
So I don't know if the example applies in 100%, but like, when there's a job there, the boss or the supervisor will come and say, oh, this is the job that we have to do, and then later, then other people, it will be distributed among the people, and says, somebody will do this way or somebody will do that way, and so forth, right?
Pena yijung o zamri bichane sem te chewa shiba jane sem ju sa jung was.
And so just by observing the entity of the object, it's called mind or the primary mind, and by observing the function of the object, it's called mental factor.
Okay, ta ane sem tin su shi namba ju ane sem ta te namba su de da mi ba ta namba su de sem de ngumbo ta we namba chene chena sem ju ngumbo ta we namba chene chewa res te da ta pa je sem de ngumbo de mi shi namba chena te sem ju de ngumbo de namba ma bo de namba che ma res ro.
Then the third one is since when a mind is generated having an aspect, for instance, the blue, its mental factor is also generated in that aspect, blue. So it will be in the same aspect. It will not be different. So when the primary mind is generated having the aspect of the blue, then the mental factor in association with that primary mind will not be generated, in the aspect of a red or orange and so forth.
Yes.
Understandable?
I don't understand that part, I guess. Could you give an example of primary mind that is generating itself as blue?
Number two,
So, for example, like you have the aspect of women, and I have the aspect of men.
So
because you are a woman, therefore you have the aspect of woman, and because I am man, therefore I have the aspect of man. That's with regards to the object, right? So then in regards to the subject or the mind, so because it's looking at the blue, so it becomes the mind and it goes and arises or generates in the aspect of observing the blue.
Pechayana mota karji togilojana kar togilo te karan zimbe number chinjewares. Kun number the karan zimbe number is.
And so for example, there's a mind that sees the car, right, or knows the car. And so that mind which knows the car is in the aspect of the mind knowing the car.
Still not clear? How about you guys? Jennifer, you understand? No? Okay. Mary, you understand?
I think so. I think it's...
Okay, can you explain?
Your mind is sort of focused on car, and so therefore your mental factor would also hold car. Your mind is holding car, and I think that means your mind is in the aspect of car. The thing that's in the mind at that point is car, and then the mental factor also holds the thing that's in your mind, which is car. I understand. Is that?
You got it?
Am I right? Yeah.
You sure?
Well,
You sure?
Marianne explained it, made me remember that the qualities of the mind, or one of the qualities is the mind is like a mirror, so it reflects whatever it's observing. So it becomes, it generates itself in the aspect of whatever the object is, I guess. So that makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Good.
If we took out entity and replaced it with subject, it would be a little clearer. Similar subject, because the mind is perceiving it versus the object is being perceived. That's why they're related.
Good. Devra?
Well, I just wondered, is it, so it's like, so looking at the first explanation of the 5 different features, number 2 and 3, so it's one is just referring to the object, one is referring to the subject, so almost like they're like the mirror and the mirror image, is that what that is? Or like a mirror image of each other?
밑보다 넘버 세야지. 밑보디 먼저 유로셔봐라. 넘버디
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
시바 코로나 수요 남바체랬나? 아니 코로나 영어뭐 이게 좀 남바체랬. 코로나 마보네 이제 남바체랬.
Yeah, so the aspect is referring to the subject itself, and so whatever object is is observing that observed by that subject, the subject becomes in that aspect.
But you have
I guess I'm still a bit confused about how. So they happen simultaneously, I guess. Both the mental factor and the mind. So if the mind, so I guess if how she was explaining it, it's almost like it's a preset, or not a preset, or you're trying, like if the mind is in the form of a car, it's almost like it already knows what it is. So the mental factor then observes a car, or gives the sort of definition of a car.
Right. The yuldi the semgi the moroto koina and moroto gane then the semjundiga moroto araso. And that chiba then tujula chagora then chiba jara guys worka. Kayan cars and the
same thing car millions. And the car is something the same juries. Tanya Dangi, the same jury. Chawashing car Kabonabo, car Chimbono, the same juries.
Chibachara.
Yechibacharo. Chigi Yellow Mubachuboch, Chigi Chawashing.
Yeah, so when the mind is looking at a car, and the car is the object of the mind. And so it says the mind that knows the car. And so that mind which knows the car is in the aspect of knowing the car. So that's why it's from the subject side. So from the object side is the object of observation. So when we're talking about from the subject side, then it becomes the aspect of that subject, of that mind. And so we mentioned earlier about the mind is looking at the car. The car is the object. So it's looking at the object, and then the moment it thinks like, oh, this is a nice car, or this is a big car, or this is a small car, that is the mental factor. So they both are looking at the car, but one looks at just the entity and other looks at the feature.
Okay, so they don't happen at the same time.
They're happening at the same time. Yeah. The chiwa tujulo.
뒤쪽에 찍었어. 거기 뒤에서 찍었어. 나 샘주대가 샘대가 파다 까렘바 가지고 무사 까렘바다 고 까렘바가 다니다 따토요 말했어. 샘주대면은.
네. 저 담보 카드 통. 근데 신의 카드에 삼삼 깨거라.
찍었다.
두지도 처음이다.
뒤ting에도 샘주대랬어.
네, 두지도 처음이다. 이제
잘려다. 까름 통이 가블라 간지 내 까르 삼무도 샘주대랬어 간지. 까름 샘코라가 뒤 다니 자시고 자고 말 샘주대랬어. 네. 걔도 집어 찍어 이제 무슨 이 뒤쪽에 찍었어.
담보통 때는 신의 때는 뭐를 삼가 말이야.
대정보다 20당 20은 된 거로 봤어. 통이 미시들 때는 미시게 된 동안에는 다 20에 다니는 된 거로 봤어.
그래.
드린 내가 생애도 같이 샘주듯이 샘주.
제가 말해서 그래.
샘주들에서.
그래.
다 뒤직 차면 뒤직 차올 간지 다 일을 몇 번씩 말했어. 뒤직을 뭐 그랬어. 그래서 다말 타니 장애지도 와. 로바마 렌팅에도 샘주들에서.
Yeah, so it happens at the same time. It's just that the moment, like when it explains about the details or the features of that object, then it becomes the matter factor. So anyway, later it also talks about the similar time.
배차잖아. 다 다른 건 제 대변이도 변화. 지나라 보스이 거지. 보스이 지나되는 데가 제일 쉬울라 같아. 다 지나는 게 내가 저 직바로 와서. 동의와 이게 내 제국을 삼아 직바야 받지. 다 대체 액션 찍는데 지나래. 보스 액션 찍어 말고 내가 또 뭐
So just like the early example of your boss and yourself doing the work together, so you both know the work, so then you see the work also, the boss sees the work also, but you do do the work more in detail later, but then the boss just sees that, so but in terms of seeing, do you both see it, see the work, and you both see at the same time.
대가다 보스 내가 제거하고 내가 제거하고 되게 빼도 말다. 이게 제사도 보긴 통화 집안이 빼나. 직 제거 직을 내가 무슨 좀 제거 직을 내가 제거한 동안보다 무슨 좀 제거 말하고.
So they both see the work, same seeing the both work is the same for both of them, right? But then later, of course, when they engage in the work, what both does is a little different than what the person will do. What the employee will do that work, right?
Understand? More difficult. Something more explained, more difficult. more. How are Jennifer? Are you clear now?
Yeah. Is it accurate to say that in the Treasury of Knowledge explanation that the aspect is equivalent to the entity in the compendium of knowledge? You the same?
That's
number 들어가서 벌써 먼저 들어가서 number 간단한 시에서 들어가서 조너로 조너
시어디 미파 number 디데
number 시에다 되네 단다 디나는 시에다 가서 단다디 가서
뭐서 집어
뭐뭐 나와셔 뭐뭐 나와셔다 뭐뭐 군들 나와셔야죠 뭐뭐 군들 나는 뭐나 집어려서
뭐 그때는 뭐서
남았습니다.
어디 된다 뭐 그때는 뭐서 했다. 이게 저기 나 남바서 집어려도 왔어.
Yeah. Yes, that's similar. Yeah.
I think entity is easier for me to understand than abstract.
that's good. Yeah. 어디 당이 빼서 봐라. 나는 비나 말이스. 근데 저는 저랑이나 보문 나 말이스. 근데 보문을 하고 그래서 봐.
So it's the same like when Geshe mentioned about you are in the aspect of women, I am in the aspect of men. So it's the same that you have the entity of women, I have the entity of men. So like similar to that.
그래서 샘대양 공부 예듯이 남바체리 샘주대야 다 나지를 해서 고로.
So when the subject, the mind, is in the aspect of observing the blue, then the mental fact in association with that subject or mind is also in the aspect of observing blue.
Okay, it's a little clear, Nicholas? Yes.
Is it like the old saying that says the mind is like a crystal that takes on the color of whatever cloth is put beneath it? So in this case, the object of observation will be the cloth, and then the entity will be the crystal that takes on the color of that cloth.
That's good.
It wasn't from me, it was Geshe Rinpoche that said that.
Yeah, that's good. But they know this.
Yeah, similar to that.
Me shouted, because the corner covered the cola, Jasade Mawagana, Komagana Machang was.
Yeah. So it's a crystal, it's clear, right? So whatever object is placed on, whatever color, if it's placed on red, that crystal will also appear as red.
대용어도 뭐기 여 그런 거 나와요. 이 책군데 그런 저거 말이야. 이건 예티kan 차이 그 자동으로 봤어.
So is the crystal is like the mind, so the object, the red is the object, right? So it's depending on the object, red, and then the crystal changes into that aspect.
Okay? Is it a little bit easy? More confused? Deborah, maybe more confused?
Well, I'm a little confused about, because they don't really explain under dependent knowledge, they don't explain it between 2 and 3 very well. Because it sounds to me like similar object of observation and subjective aspect refers to similar object of observation and similar subjective aspect. So that would make then the similar entity, number 3, something different, which I'm not clear what that is.
그래서
A little bit of the second set of 5.
뭐 가져왔어요?
먼저 니버드너라. 뭐 군드너라?
응.
그래서 니버드 가르도. 대충 제충 그래서 당보대 제충으로도 니버드 믹바다 넘버 송스다. 믹바 담 넘버 son다.
믹바. 내가 믹반 소재다. 니바들에. 당보 제인수 미남 소재.
믹넘 어디 믹바다 넘버 믹넘 소.
어디 디나 코니아 카로 샤도 미남 치바레스. 미남 소재. 근데 올마 주제셔서 미남 소와다 모은 소와 지발 마셔 온도 와서. 자, 이 빠지다 들어와. 미남 소와다 모은 소와 지발로 시간도 와서.
예.
그래서 미바 술죠 무사 지발에. 한 남바야테 나 모은 소와다 모다 남바니 고시바로 이제 시작도 와서.
So again, when it's explaining in the explanation, and it says 2 and 3 together, right? Yeah, so here it's 2 and 3, the similar entity and similar the object of observation. So entity and aspect here in explains is the same, similar. So similar object of observation and subjective aspect, and similar entity refers to the following.
배나 가나 미반 소와다 가르나 아니 다수의 가르려면 될 지바레스. 다 미남세지거든. 다 나바다 모세 군 지바장도 도다. 이건 문에서 가가잖아 맞아. 숨어서 말라 미남다 오니 지바장도 와서. 미세단 다 남세대 고마요 가요. 그러나 뇨모 소sem데 뇨모 나바잖아. 디sem비데 뇨모 도래. 아니 소sem데 사면도 와나 디인 고조 sem비도 사면도 오래. 까지 다 모라들 지바레스. 나바 지바레 거니. 가가지나 맞아. 미남세잖아 맞아. 지바레스.
And so, it's just that giving different names, but it's actually the same, right? Aspect and entity. So whatever the mind arises in that aspect, the mental factor will be also in that aspect. So if the mind is in the delusional aspect, then the mental factor that there's in association with that primary mind will also be delusional. If it is uncontaminated, and then also the mental factor will be also in the aspect of uncontaminated.
Well, that sounds like that's comparing number 5 of similar substance is equivalent to number 3 of similar entity. I don't know for sure, but it is definite because they combine the 2 of them.
Yes, the aspect and the object of observation and the aspect and the similar entity, right?
아고서 같이서.
It sounds to me like on the first treasure of knowledge, the fifth item is called similar substance.
Yes.
That to me sounds like what they're referring to as similar entity.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure.
Just as mind of a similar type are distinct substance, likewise the mental factors.
Good. You guys read, okay? Then more
similar type
discussion.
are also distinct substance.
같이서.
그래서 무엇은 더 재총세잖아. 재총세야 돼. 다른 5총벌 나도 집어라 오래셨어.
대초에다 코니 데레레레 봐. 찍찍이 맞춰야 돼. 대초라 그랬으니까. 코니가 데레레레 봐. 요 말했어야 돼. 대초다. 그 뜻이야 그랬어.
데레레스나?
이제 다 거기 대칙적인 맛이 말했어. 제니요 말했어. 거기가 생주대가 대칙인 거래. 샘대가 대칙이래서.
제즈 가서 하다. 샘기 제즈.
다 제즈나야 다 그러고 그런 게 내림도. 그런 게 제주도. 그런 뭐로. 같이 데카가 가셔요 말했어.
또 샘기 제즈는 가라.
다 샘기 된다 가지 샘거 뭐로.
지금 내가 몰라도 돼.
뭐도 어떻게 파파잖아. 그런 게 셀렉 전에 가자마다 뭐 전에 가면 집어집어 작으러져. 그냥 셀렉 전에 가가면 시와 맞다고 되지는 건도 집어다 그 셀렉 전에 가가 다시 버려봤어.
Just to point out that there already is substances number 5 in the first list, and number 1 on the second list.
Yes, number 1 and second. So you understand that just as the mind of a similar type are distinct substances, likewise the mental factors, such as the feeling of the similar type, are also distinct substances. Therefore, their substance are similar. Laurie is important.
More complicated.
I don't know, that definition makes no sense.
So, what Geshe was saying is that, when we talk about the substance of the mind. So substance of the mind and substance of the mental factor, whatever that is, right? And so, so just like the substance, is a, so just as this mind of a similar type are distinct substance, and just like that, thus the mind has a distinct substance, the mental factor also has a distinct substance. It's not a one substance; it's distinct. It's not same but distinct. Distinct like different, right? Separate or
So
different.
Two minds are like similar types.
The mind and the factor.
They're still
They're
different.
hard.
They're saying something of a
They're
different
hard.
kind.
거기 가가.
가가라는 가르다가.
가가라 말만. 그냥 대칙적인 바 집안에서 하죠. 그냥가라 데르르면서 매워 집안에서 하죠. 그러니까 대칙적인 바 집안에서 하죠. 배나 맞아 미니래야. 그러니까 이제 나요 바 집안에서 되는 거라다. 뭐 간가라 나 찍찍이 바 집안.
샘중 소왔다고 리턴 제레라인스.
된다 릭 집안에서. 대칙인 바. 대칙인 바니가 릭 말해서. 니가라 데르르 말해서.
말해 샘 리턴 바 제레라인와 임바터 샘중 소왔다고 리턴 바 제레라인스.
되는다. 릉터 데르르와 임바터 세주 따와야 릉터 바. 되는다. 샘대양 고랑기 따그로 뭐어디 따른데부터 샘 고랑라죠. 고랑 많이 그래도 좀 바꿔 제로 소리 말아. 고랑기 샘 고랑 뭐어디 고랑다 뭐 그러 제 고랑 뭐에 받대나지 샘주 대양 고랑 뭐어디 대치 바꿔 이제 가가 샤야 말자. 샘주라 대만라니다 샘부 대만라니 가샤야 말이지.
레버스라.
데르르와 레스가. 내 가가 샤야 말자. 샘대양 샘고랑 뭐 릭지 바레스. 아니 샘주대양 샘주고랑 뭐 릭지 바레 말. 샘주당 샘주가 돼서 가가 샤야 말이지. 내 샘주래 내 샘주가 돼서 가요 말이지. 내 딱 거는 지 바레스.
아니 레버스
릭지 바레스. 릭지 바지는 레레바레스. 거기 릭지 바이만 맞지? 아니 레레레스.
레버스는 찍찍서다.
찍찍 가가 찍찍. 다고 데니니요 말이야. 되는데 릉타마이만 맞지? 대형 고 찍바레스 찍찍이요 말이야.
So substance is again very similar to like what Deborah mentioned about entity. So the substance of the mind and the substance of the mental factor. And the substance of the mind is the mind that's made of. The substance of the mind is whatever the mind is made of. That is the substance of the mind. It's talking about. So like again here, when we talk about the mind observing the particular object, then it becomes that becomes the substance of the mind. Right? So that is the one that gives rise to the mind. So the mind is made of that thing, those things. So those are the substances that created the mind like that. Yeah. And so that substance, is a similar, with the mental factor. But again, it's distinct. Means it's like by itself. It's not same, it's not one, but it's distinct.
It's not one with the object? Or
No,
it's
not one with the object, yes. 가서 가서 내려와서 는 찍 말해서 그러다 가라서 찍 말해서 그러.
찍 말했어. 가가 찍찍이.
더 가라 찍 가라다 가 찍 말해서 그러. 거기 요다 찍 말해서 그래.
뭐 코란이 찍 말했어.
순이.
삼도 세준이 찍 말했어. 코란이 그래래 가가 샤야서. 데레.
제 가가 그래서.
데 가가.
So now it's talking about the mental factor. So it's distinct. So it's distinct is like different or separate substance, from the mental factor. So yeah, so the substance of the mind and substance of the mental factor are distinct. Yeah.
근데 이다 코니 데 찍발했어. 코니가 데 가로 바두니가 많이 봐인다. 코니 데 가가 임바는 데 찍들라 그랬어. 데레와.
So they are similar in a sense that they both have distinct substances.
They're similar in that they're different?
Yeah, they are
different,
similar because they both, so they both have distinct substances.
배나
They're separate.
코니 가레스. 코니 가레 데 가레스. 샘주게 되다 샘제 가레스. 다뭐 가레라 그러냐.
So the substance of the mind and substance of mental factor are different, are separate.
디프런스 자도 하다
So
보니.
there's
군주 셀레기 전에 다 내가 제당 전에 가레스.
similarity lies in the fact that they have
The different substances.
No, maybe to some.
duality.
So the substance is different there because of their function. The mind has different function and the mental factor has different function. So their substance are different. 되네?
뭐 뭐지를 다 하시다. 군이 뭐지 잡았다.
말다 제타 되려서.
뭐지라 데타드나 셀레기 타데인자 아니 데타데레스. 데카가니.
So their function is different, and therefore their substance are different.
배나 시와도 못 타war라나. 집어라 버스시다. 얘나 셀레기 전에 미카가 다서 버스.
So for example, like impermanence and product are same, but because of their function, they are given different name. One is called impermanence, and one is called product.
근데 군이 데카가 쳐서 왔어. 데레레. 소소 데카가 누웠어.
And so they have different substances now, right? The mind, the impermanence and product.
하고서래.
This one is saying the substances are similar, not different.
대이다 다 디드면서 니 데레레 왔다. 다 데레레 맞지 바랬어. 데 찍찍 소소를 데 찍찍 요 맞지 바랬어. 콜라 데 셈라 데 찍요 콜라 데 찍어도 군이 데 찍래. 데 찍찍 맞지 바랬어.
So the mind has a distinct substance, and the mental factor has also a distinct substance, right?
군이
So they are in similar in having distinct substances.
내선다 데레레와 임베나 데투서 거. 데레레와 임베나 데투서.
So they are of similar substance.
They share that.
They're exactly, yeah. So they have the same substance in a sense that they each have their own substances.
배나 나서 미라와나. 고바죠 배나. 계제 동 시바이자 군이 계제 시바바 직반 투바르서 하는 거죠.
So like they are same. So say you and I are same in having, in being able to speak. Yeah, so that's like you and I are same being able to, same in being able to speak.
무슨 많이 직발라고 말았어.
But doesn't mean that you and I are same. We are same in a sense that we can speak in the same way.
두시에도 두진 대시에도 왔어. 다 되는 줄 셈다 세준이가 야. 제레레와 임바 직바인자 아니 제레레와만 투말해서 군이가. 데투라 말해.
So in the same way, the mind and mental factor, because they each have their distinct substances, therefore they have similar substance.
Are they both generating from the same object of observation in this case?
뭐
The Yes.
So they're like siblings with the same DNA, but they're different individuals.
The pinjaras. Kuni pinjara kesa chigu resra. And the mazu cross and chiboyaras. The mikharas. So the orders.
I don't know exactly make a bit different or you want to let you know.
Yeah, you can say some way it's like that, yes.
배차시나 부분이 테마여와나 부분이나 군이 계속 집어치라고 이나 법불려 가지고 봉불려 가지고 가가지고 그러고 된다서 말이야. 네 내가 지금 그거 집어치면 로거다. Same government, same you take telemego, same you government, same take me.
So it's somewhere you can apply in the same example, but not exactly the same because a sibling will be two very different things. So when this sibling, like say for example the twin, boy and girl, twin boy and girl, they both have the same DNA, but they're different, separate person. So here it's so separate that they won't be doing the same thing. So here the mind and manufacturer are doing the same thing all the time, right? So if the mind is looking at the table, manufacturer is also looking at the table, whereas the sibling will not be doing the same things all the time, right? So it's similar in some sense, but not same as like the same because they can't be doing things differently. The mind and manufacturer, the siblings can do different things, right?
They're similar, but they're different.
Yes.
They're not identical, but they're similar.
Yes. Chipochicha mare that double resio that same the same.
Same day, young kaka been a cow to Pombato kaka maris.
소등하던 China 치버렸어.
Tensudan, Sujan Chibares. Muban say Yichila Mubamba Chibare, number Karijan te Chibare, Tesuya Chingo Chinga Chibachiane, Techibachianes.
So in terms of the 5 similarities, they are similar in that sense only, but not identical, exactly same. Yeah.
How Deborah? What happened now?
I understand the first list, I think.
Okay.
But the second list, I don't quite understand.
First
First list is more.
So you understand the similar substances in the first list? So you hear about the aspect? The similar aspect?
Yeah.
All of you?
You.
Yeah, I think I'd probably have to think about it more.
How about you?
Yeah, so I just want to sort of
Pena
reiterate.
Diri Kandam, Mazu Sama Khan Yedishive, Member Chibari, Khan Yedishive number chain. The years ago, number chain Chibari.
So, for example, today there's a snow, right? So we all look at the snow, we all see the snow, right? So we are in that aspect of seeing snow. All of us are same in that aspect of seeing the snow.
Teresa that is one of Kaji. Number said that Kronting was a economy, that it's buying was a Kaji. The Nibadala go down and Minam Nam said it. Georgia Chibajab to us. And then I could do the shit.
Yeah, so the aspect would be similar, to the entity.
And woman journal, and was at the Omaris, number said about.
In the Abhidhammakosha, it only explains about the aspect. It doesn't mention the entity.
In a Teneza, number more, teen more, teen number is and
And so there's the entity, is an entity of that or aspect of that. It means same thing.
Okay? But the chance to tata than the Nipegi, a number to say there, Minam Susa in the was. Minam Susa there, and a Chipajan was, Casro. Mipa Chila Mipan, Sunshing is and what Tate Mipa Susa Resawa. Mipa and Nami gone in Yomocha Yemen, Sumeton, yes, Sumeton. And so Mipi Yetian, Yomochi, Naba the Yomochin Bada. That's so same day, no much and the China, think was your same and no much in the China over this. Then that day, I didn't go to the Chipare, all my child was. So same the Samayana and the same thing was Samachan over this.
The mind and mental factor in its retinue are similar in observing one object, the object of observation, and they are similar in being afflicted or non-afflicted in terms of the object of the observation and the subject, the aspect. If the main mind has become afflicted, so it's a similar, as they're explaining, it's a similar, then the mental factor in its retinue also becomes afflicted. Whereas if the main mind has become uncontaminated, mental factor in its retinue also becomes uncontaminated.
How's it? Okay, yes.
Going back to the similar substance, when it says a similar type, for instance, it says, likewise, mental factors such as feelings of a similar type. Does a similar type mean, for instance, feeling is an ever-present mental factor, so is that the type? Is it, so, what is the type?
네, 뭔가 소화래라. 소화나 이제 디시드는 소화식도. 베나디노나 걸서. 나 코드 좀 소화세라. 소화다고서. 레튼제레와. 임베나 제라. 샘전이가 기능 같습니다. 그는 내가 어디 말이야. 되게 참고합니다. 이거 더 감성 제선이다. 어디를 미군함 참고네.
그러나 샘 코랑 런데 데르 임바터 띵고죠 샘죽 따와야 런데 데르 밤 통하래. 데 간이 데 찍어 줘 말했어. 데르르면 줘 말했어. 이거죠. 디코나도
데코드 저 처음에 되면서 저 샘찍 코드라 샘중 초왔다고. 샘죽 리턴 봤어. 리턴 봤지. 코나 중 리턴 봤어요.
런데 마다 코랑 집바 지금 죽으면 니 죽으면 말하니. 소심 코드 중에 생주 초왔다가 런데 지코난 중거 런데 제 다데바 문제이시다 말하면 주고 말 가간 주고 말했어. 런문다만 주고 말했어.
리턴도 가라. 리턴 봤어요.
런데 맞다 코랑 못 집바 그래 코랑
좋아다 리턴 봤어요.
또 좋아 코랑 마도 심한 주고 말했어.
So here it's actually it means like the feeling itself, similar type, not a different, you know.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay,
so it'll be similar to the feeling itself, yeah. Yeah, not a different from the feeling, yeah.
Okay, how's that? How's Mingna? 다 저도 Ming나도 돼 세워놓고 청소해야 돼.
So how about this object of observation and the aspect?
It's okay?
Is that clear?
How's that? Not yet?
No, I think so, that part.
You just think so? 다 된.
Entity I don't quite understand, like, so.
가서
Yeah.
It's kind of a word game.
Yeah, it's low. It's 설명. 다 남았어요. 근데 다 딘소는 코니 깨나 깨와 집바 딘 가는 거 뒤도 찍으래서 왔대 될려고 놓았어.
So the time is easy, right?
다 나도 제대로는 요라에 받아 제대로는 나도 해야 돼. 다 가르쳐서 줘도 해야 돼.
So how about the substance? Are you clear with that?
다들 나도 단다 세워서 좀 봐. 샘 코나를 더 제대로 와인 받아 샘주 따고 좋았다고요. 따고 어른들 데려야 받아 된투야 시시에스 된투 왔다 시와도 코나 샘 코나야 코랑 뭐다 그 나고 샘 찍으면 저 말이야. 근데 조심 찍고 조심 찍으면 조심 니오 말이야. 그거. 대노지다 샘주 좋았다고나 초 지나 초니 용식 말 초마로니 디트지 용 말 왔어. 초 찍용 찍가로 왔어. 된다고.
And so a similar type, you know, means like again. So when the mind, when the primary mind, you know, is focusing on one thing, it can be only of that type. It cannot be of different type, right? And so the mental factor, like for example, feeling in that retinue, in the retinue of that primary mind, when the feeling comes up, the feeling will be of similar type also. There cannot be different types of similar. Like if it's a happy feeling, then it has to be happy feeling. It cannot be. They cannot have an unhappy feeling at that time, at the same time also.
근데 그 소진 거라야 happy feeling 데 unhappy feeling 냠도였나? 아니 다 리모트 봐. 제니 가져도 제니 뒤도 저기 와서.
And so if there is those both feelings, like a happy feeling and unhappy feeling at the same time, then there will be, you know, then that will be not a similar type. That will be different kind, right? So it's not a similar type, different. And so then in that case there will be like two different substances.
Yes.
So in this explanation of substance, it's not saying that different substances of a similar type cannot occur. It's just saying that they cannot occur at the same time. Right?
Did you say 말았어요? 지금 자네 말았어요, 말았어. 변한 건데 소화대 눈이가 도지가 차이 말았어요. 맞지? 지단 차이 말았어요. 말았어.
대요 말이 세당 가서 소화대와 동에 있게 여러 왔어.
Yeah, generally of course, you can have both, but not at the same time.
Okay, I guess that sort of made me confused because from the previous explanation of substance, when we were saying that substance, a mind and a mental factor are unique in substance, and that makes them their substance similar. And then I guess with this explanation, I was just sort of confused because it sort of seemed like they could not occur. Two different substances could not occur of the same type, I guess. But
자,
I think that's clear.
제 가가세요. 제 가가 가서 제 리턴스야 돼 가가 됐어요. 리턴스야 됐다는 건데 소화 리턴스야 됐다. 소화 대화는 소화 대화 좀 봐.
지보해 봐.
그래.
소화 동안 지보해 봐. 근데 다 들리게 소화대 고난염도야. 소화 동안 영어 말했어. 고난 지보 마시.
그래. 다들이 당한 제세 제리 때리셔 그래.
다 제세 오다티 고난 모어서 가나 제세 티치자 그래. 지금 영어 말했어.
So yeah, when you talk about the the mind of a similar type, that's what it's talking about. So the mental factor of the similar type, like feeling, the similar type, it's like only one kind of feeling, and it can happen at the same time.
근데 간도 영어도 때문에 간도 근데 샘나 초 대화로 영어 깔라지 초 동안 영어도 왔어.
So like when we have that happy feeling, we don't get the unhappy feeling at the same time.
대가도 냠냠고 영어도 와.
That's we can understand that from our experience, right?
다 들리 대 샘줄에 다대 코랑 수디로서가 샘대가 다 알아요.
And so that's the mental factor, right? The feeling is a mental factor, and so this mental factor, which is in association with the mind, so that main mind also have a same.
들리 안에 조sem대야 다 나중에 남아 제가 뭐또 양 제가 제가 말했어. 소 대회 소 대화도 수대죠. 수den로서가 조sem이 제가 말했어.
So then that mind, the primary mind or the main mind also, will have a similar type, will not have a different. So if it is the mind associated with that a happy feeling mental factor, then the primary mind also will be similar. Of the similar type means like happy feeling also, and related with the happy, cannot be unhappy.
How's it? Do you understand? How's it?
Different commentaries have such different ways of explaining what substance is. Like, it definitely gives you a better, it's so interesting to see how different you can explain the same words, same concept.
내가 그때가도 조금 지금 코드 쉬에 세주 쳐왔다가 rinto 찍고난 준 거. 그리고 먼저 받았다바니 문제면 가가 문제도 찍발해야 되는 거네. 파이잖아 찍발해야 돼. 이게라도 rinto 데려봐 임베나 쳐왔다가 생주를 데려면 데려면 좀 찍발다. 네 찍고는 좀 그랬어. 그러나 쳐왔다바나 쳐와 대화도 코나 모두 생주 쳐 동안 조금 말했어.
So yeah, I mean,
like
the way they explain is different, right? But the meaning is same though.
The meaning is same.
Do you understand the meaning as the same?
No.
다 먹었나?
I mean, it's not completely different, but it's a very subtle difference, but it is different. What they're saying, what both of those commentaries are saying. Like one commentary is saying they share.
So it says that just as the mind of similar type are distinct substances, right? Likewise, the mental factors, such as the feeling of a similar type, are also distinct substances. And then in the next, the commentary, it says the similar substances refer to the falling in the retinue of the single main mind. There can arise only one mental factor. For instance, feeling of a similar type. So there's the same thing, right? So also a similar type at the beginning, and on the top, other one. And the two mental factors of the similar type but of different substance cannot occur.
Oh, okay. I guess it's not that different.
Yeah, different way.
Yeah, different way of telling or explaining, but it's the same. It has to carry the same meaning.
One is kind of like a negation, and one is a different.
It must be much clearer in Tibetan because the English they put so many words in it.
No, in Tibetan is similar, also very confusing.
It's probably clearer.
No, it's easier to understand in English than to understand in Tibetan. Really, yeah?
Yeah, some people say English is much easy to understand.
Because, like in Tibetan, we have different languages, right? So, written language, spoken language, is very different, So in English is very same, So what you read is what you speak, But yeah, it's very direct, Very direct, very easy to understand. Like from my experience, I deal with both, right? So English and Tibetan, Tibetan is much more difficult to understand. Yeah.
Peshena ringtedina ringtedenta ninjuk marsana bena chowa dewa bena chingko jo sosem chigun jo chowa dewa ninjuk marsana de ko de wondwa sosem chigun ko jo chowa dewa ni dichin jo marsana ko de wondwa.
So for example, like if you say one main mind cannot have two different mental factors, like two different feelings and two different kind of feelings in its retinue. You understand that easier?
다 sosem deni semju chi korang ko jo sosem ni
And so just like the mental factor, I mean the main mind cannot have two different kind of mental factors, like two different kind of feeling at the same time, right? Just like that, one mental factor cannot have two different kind of main mind with it. Just the vice versa. It's easy to understand like that.
You can't simultaneously have pain and pleasure.
So in the retinue, of the main mind, there cannot be both, happy and unhappy feelings, right? And so then, in the retinue of one main mind, right? Can there be two different kind of unhappy feelings? Cannot. In the retinue of the main mind.
Does that mean at that moment, at one moment?
At that time, yeah. So the mental factor that is associated with the, with the primary mind at that time, can there be both feelings? There are two different kind of feelings. Even if it's happy feeling, two different kind of happy feelings? Cannot, right? So that's what it means by distinct. Yeah, so it's a similar to our distinct substance. Yeah, so that will be, then there will be two different, distinct substances. And so when it says distinct, that means, it has to be, it's separate, right? Two different things. And so when it says a similar type, again, there cannot be of the similar, there cannot be of two different similar types. So distinct and similar types. So we're very similar here. And like you said, one way is in kind of negating, by saying not this way, but other way is saying yes, this way, like that.
You understand now? Or you say, oh, the truth to come, just keep that. Not like that. No, you have to mind, not to say, oh, the thing when you some corona, demo de machine, Fanny Madawachi, Madawachi, and what they were some chargos.
So you have to, find some confidence in that. Otherwise, if you don't feel confident, and say, oh yeah, this is how it is. Then otherwise, if you hear something else different, a person says something, then we might, go into that direction again. So can we have like two different kind of happy feelings, observing at one object at the same time?
Yeah, this is.
You're supposed to say no, but is that true? I mean, sometimes.
No, you're not supposed to say yes if it's not true.
No.
Okay, no, maybe.
No.
Sometimes I feel like I have mixed feelings about something, but I can't isolate one moment in my mind. I don't have that ability. So I'm just taking it on faith that that's the case.
No, you cannot try this. They will feel chaos.
You can't accept it here.
This is recognized, this is really experience. Then when that good number 3 sitting there that. Number 3 then 3 then Thomas over that can do something.
So you have to go with the logic, that
Yeah.
cannot be just based on faith.
Yeah.
So this is what His Holiness mentioned about Buddhist science.
Then that Tandi
It's not faith and based on faith.
Yeah.
Has to.
Okay, so logically prove to me that you can't have two feelings
at one moment. And
Two happy feelings.
two
At the same time,
feelings. Yeah, prove it to me. I don't know, I don't understand why that's the case.
Understand this. 저 언니 도치룽 투 말스 거라서 용부터 understand to
that 용 토가 그냥 직셔다서 용 토에는 직셔다. 내 용도 직셔다.
But you can prove that it can happen.
그는 가도 뭐 잘죠. 저런 게
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're saying
I can't prove that but I'm asking.
You said in the same moment, right?
Yeah, at the same moment.
How long is a moment? Yeah. How long is a moment?
65th of a
Actually, it's the Sangha might say it's 365th of a finger snap. So within just that second, there's already several moments. And so it might even feel like it's arising at the same time, but several moments have passed technically.
When it's too short.
Yeah.
It's too short. 네, 제가 대만 말에 뒤에 찔러. 이 찔러면이 초가 대화 말하니 너무 말하니 용서를 했어.
so. No, that's not what we do at the moment thing.
Okay,
Like generally when we say at the same time. So at the same time, let's say it can be like within that hour time or within that minute time. So whatever it is. So by looking at the one object, like looking at one object, can you have two different kind of happy feelings?
네가 happy feeling 받지 봐지. This is you have to really 냠냠거리 온 거로 왔어.
답변은 가서 유치를 미네. 소화되어 미련이 가져진 거라. 소화되어 가져.
대든 소화되어 뭐지 용치 소화되어 지금 용거 말했어. 내가 이람도 왔어. 근데 이 용어 있나? 코다 대대대서도 맞아. 명사 명사서 말했어.
맞아. 소화되어서는 뻔 소화되어 가져가도 소화되어셔래.
답변아. 하이세. 알아나 웬 나도 잘라지 라와나 나도 소화라지 세마 찍으라 용으로 왔어. 다들 소화되어 왔어. 다 된다고시. 다 나지만 언니 거다.
So how will be different kind of happy feeling, right? Happy feeling is happy feeling, right? So how what kind of can you give an example of two different kind of happy feeling?
Yeah, elation and joy.
But if the measure is only like pleasure, suffering, or neutral, right? I mean, it's not like we.
But you can have different kind of happy feelings, right? Many different kind of happy feelings.
You can be excited.
Happy feeling of seeing a friend, or happy feeling of gaining a fame, or happy feeling of like winning a lottery, like this. So happy feeling of winning a lottery is same from happy feeling of seeing a friend.
Yeah, I mean, those are just the different reasons.
Different, yeah. So
Those are different situations.
situation, but it's a feeling. So how will you say there are two different kind of feelings though? The 하나만 더 샤워.
대샤도 못 왔어.
맞아. the 하나만 더 근데 샤워.
대샤나 대 용다 가러 왔어.
See, you said you can have two different kind of feeling, but you can even have two different kind of feeling, a happy feeling.
I just said
can.
elation and joy.
엘레이션이
Those
가로.
are two different types of happy feelings.
What do you mean by elation?
Elation.
Elation?
It's like maybe a feeling that you get that is like you feel almost like you're out of your body because you're so happy. It's extreme happiness.
Extreme.
Ecstasy is a little different than elation.
So that's happy feeling.
Good.
So it's one.
This is good. No talk, no discussion.
And then joy.
So that can happen from the same object? They both can happen from the same object at the same time?
It's possible. I'm not like able to know because I can't isolate one single moment, but it just seems like it could be possible.
So are you thinking though that maybe you could experience different degrees of happiness within a moment versus actually unique qualities of happiness?
Possibly. I don't know. I just
소화되어 슈체로 되어라. 소화되어 슈체로 니디 되는 교체가 되게
It's
됐어.
possible.
교체가 된 유지로 되게 됐어.
소화대와 휴체중에 말만 휴충화 여기가 휴체 제도요 말하대. 휴체고 휴충화도 매워서 그래.
So if it's in a different degrees, So if it's a lower degree or higher degree of happiness, so it cannot happen at the same time, right? So when you have the higher degree of happiness, the lower degree is gone. When you have a lower degree, you cannot have a happy and a higher degree of happiness at that time.
대대 용통마 다 저는 저 나오려 그렇지. 그니 냠새 뭐지. 대창 예질을 뭐지. 저 집어인 바지 나오는 거다 니가 나오인 바지. 직직 휴치면 대 용통마. 다 냠도 좀 거면 간 대나 직휴치 직만 냠도 올라왔어.
So if it is happening if it has to happen at the same time, then it cannot be stronger or less stronger. So because those both cannot happen at the same time.
I agree.
So what is the kind of happiness that you're saying it can happen at the same time?
Don't give up, okay?
I'm just saying these, for example, my example of elation and joy, they're not degrees of happiness. One is not higher
Okay, so
or lower. They're
when you
qualities.
are asking her about the degrees,
Qualities.
not that. That's not the case.
Like one comes from the heart maybe and the other is more full body. For example, I don't know if that's true, but that's an example.
But it's not suffering and it's not neutral. I mean, if those are, if that's really what feeling, the measure.
So you're saying about like physical happiness and mental happiness. Elation is body.
Maybe different emotional types of happiness.
I think they're both emotional, yeah.
No, but they're different types of emotion. Like you might get a different feeling of happiness by seeing something beautiful versus getting excited that your team won in the game. They're two happinesses, but they're experienced in two different ways.
Those are two different situations again, just like Namcho's example.
Yes.
My contention is that you can have one situation and two separate types of feelings.
Happy feelings.
But if they're separate, then they're not similar, right? So if they're distinct, then
They're not,
then they're not happy.
they're not similar type.
Yeah, they're not. So they're not going to be able to happen at the same time because they're already different. Right?
So
When I look at it though, when I think about it,
Those are just two words, elation and joy. It's just words that you use to describe
happiness.
one feeling.
Exactly.
It's just degrees. So
Again, you're going with the degree.
yeah, so it is, you're right.
So degree is like again the strength, right? When you talk about the degree, is the strength of the.
Yeah.
No, it's a
It's
strength.
a different quality. I don't know.
Different amount.
High or low, but it's
Yeah.
different type. So just by the fact that we use two different words for those two feelings.
So there's like the two different type of happiness that I explained earlier. That's different type, right? Not a similar type. So similar type of two two happiness or two happy feeling cannot occur at the same time.
Right?
I'm starting to think that that's the case.
No, this is good. This is we cannot fed. This is we cannot do fed, okay? 내가 너무 대화를 넣어야 다 수수 냠냠거니 삼고 그거 다.
Yeah, you cannot accept that on the basis of faith, okay? So it has to go with the logic.
Yeah. Example, you have like happy feeling, you outside to come inside, you happy feeling to warm, right? Then you heard some good news, you are happy feeling. This both happy feelings same, but different happy feeling.
Different.
What you're saying is happy, whatever feeling you have, what this is saying is every mental factor is situationally dependent. And the situation is the primary mind, kind of?
그래.
그러고.
내당 라래 그랬어. 내술다 내당 라래 그랬어.
그러고.
그래. 더 샘주지다 변조 라래 그랬어 그러더라.
대들을 권유를 하래. 권유도 지금은 지금 뭐로 그래.
Yeah. Of course, the mind and mental factor, they are dependent on each other. One cannot happen if the other one is not there.
간지 샘주되면은 샘거랑 고발 샘걸레가 제일 말씀.
So if the mental factor is not there, mind will be like a dumb, will not be able to function.
그냥 나도다 산 유머만 도 따다. 샘주 찍면은 대제사 내가 샘거랑 고발 샘걸레가 제도 말씀.
So if there's one of the mental factor is missing, then mind will not be function in that way. So that mind will become like a dumb.
다야 샘도 매봐나요? 등 샘주 등야 들레가 제도 말씀.
Again, if there's no mind, then the mental factor will not be able to function either.
배치는 대양 티베딩 가서 맨날 내가 쟁이면 내가 쟁이를 지어야 되고 말아봤어. 내가 쟁이면 내가 쟁이를 양 내가 또 말아 된다고 싫어.
It's like employer and employee, you know. So if there's no employer, the employee will not be able to find a job. If there's no employee, the employer will not be able to find somebody to do the job, you know. So they both depend on each other. Like that.
그래서 샘세준이 집바 권이 받은 데와 집바에 말했어.
Yeah, so depending, on each other, is same.
오케이. 근데 다 샘주 지금 고주에 양 소샘 먼저와 소샘 니 뒤치대 용거 말했어. 대다다 소샘 지금 고주 샘주 양 배나 대와니 뒤치 용거 말했어. 대와 지나 대와 직 소샘은 소샘 지금 마시고 말했어.
So in association with the mind, there cannot be two different kind of mental factors, like two different kind of happy feelings at the same time. And then also in association to that mental factor, there cannot be two different kind of primary minds also.
How you think? And then lelau
Substances.
they tang lelau jing to te go tsuye mar.
Just how to say this is.
Tenda je susu ngos kana ta rechi te re bare ni yong mar so.
Yeah, so that's what. So here is talking about it because each has their own, substance, distinct substances. So that one also has distinct. So they are same having this kind of distinct substances.
So could you say substance could be defined as like the factor of both minds and mental factors being
Interdependent?
That's the same thing like tembe chane zesha digrewas. Tembe chane. Semda semjun semla tembe na tengi yobna shi. And semjun semla tengi yoba so then zesumara siras. Tirasha mara.
대화랑 말.
No, not that one. Yeah.
권이 소소소 레레 요래서. 대 말. 권이 대레레 봐야 맞지 말했어. 근데 라반이 집안에 라반이 소소 내가 집안에서.
So they are same substance in the sense that they both have a distinct substances. So it's like two hand.
모장 콜로니라 콜로시오라. 콜로시도 내가 집안에서나. 내가 지금 순 그냥 나솔린 콜로니나 권이가 집안에서 권이 내가 집안에서나.
Yeah. So it's just like saying the two front wheels, they are same in spinning. They both spin. So they are same in terms of they both spinning. You say, oh, they are similar because they both spin.
그런데 권이 대레레마 샘주 대한 권한 조선 샘주 만도 찍으셔 말아. 조선 대한 권한 찍으셔. 권이 레레마 대레레마 집안에서.
So the primary mind also is there's only one. The second, the mental factor also there's only one. So they both have a distinct substances. So they both are same in having this distinct substances. Yeah.
How is it?
So the main mind is cognizing the object. The mental factor cognizes the attributes of the object. The fact that they both are generated from the same object, they have the same substance in that way, but they're performing different functions. So that's how they're different.
조생이 이거 통과했어. 나저 여기 뭐 통과했어. 안에 다 semjung이 여기 제가 통과했어. 에나도 군이 계속이 유지 느껴 버렸어. 그래서 되는 건이 제지 그랬어.
대고 말씀. 대다 군이 남아지 그랬어. 미바지라 그랬어. 대군이 미바지라 그랬어.
So yeah, so so for that one is like a similar object and similar aspect. And so that's, you can say, because of that, you can say they have the similar object and similar aspect. So the substance here is a little different. Similar substance means like they both have a distinct substances. They are similar in having distinct substances.
They're similar in their uniqueness.
다 그들은 제세를 고하라고 그랬어요.
다 제세는 뭐선다. 그런 뭐더라나.
그래 지금은 뭐선 다 차서더네. 남아서 지고 차라. 제라는 그런 것도
근데 그리고 또 뭐로 그래 제세까지 그런게
그런 가래서 와라.
그런 가래만 그런 가래서 와라.
그러니까 ben에 그 쪽쪽이 제리 가라서는
힘들어 와. 아니 네 제리 간다 클레 들어와서. 되나 오래다. 네. 대나 갈라와서 그랬어.
다이는 제레려서더니
다 찍찍 마셔 말이야. 찍찍 마셔. 찍찍이 마셔 버렸어. 그런데 많이 용거 말이야. 고니가 찍찍 마셔 용식 말이야.
그래 되더라도 대단한 저와 지금 뭐지?
오, 대단 거의 아니, 다 내지 고 다니자다고 자요, 맞지?
네.
그니 저와 지금 뭐지? 저와 지금 거는 저와 지금 뭐 하죠, 맞아. 저선 지금 뭐 지금 버려서 하는 거 고대오잖아. 다 대세들 남고 대세 봐 이거잖아.
So I think the confusion part is the substance, right? The word substance. Is that the confusion?
Right? Or the day we don't find.
No, like like Ian said, very similar to what you said. Like I mentioned earlier, it's like what we call the substance. The substance, of the substance is the thing that it's made of, right? Like the substance of the table is the wood and the glue, nail, and so forth. Right? So that's the substance that made the table. So that's just the same like mind. So when you talk about the mind, and so that can be when you talk about the particular mind, a mind observing the table. That mind is made by the object, the table. So without the table, there cannot be mind observing the table. So the mind observing the table depends on the table. So that mind is made by the table. So it is made by the object. So again, here very similar to the object and the aspect. And so now, because of that, that's the object of observation. Then the mind, when it's looking at it, then it becomes the mind observing the table. So that's the aspect of the mind. Aspect of that mind is the observing. So it's very similar, right? So entity, exactly. So entity, and so that's the substance again now. So what this made, the mind is made of that object. So without that object, there cannot be mind. There cannot be that mind observing the object, right? So that's the substance. And so here, when we talk about a distinct substance, it's like it can be only one type. So only one type. There cannot be two different kinds. So when there's a mental factor, that's one can be only one mental factor. So it has to be distinct. It cannot be two different types or two different similar types, two different kind of happy feeling or in terms of the feeling mental factor. You cannot have two different. And so just like that, the mind also can only have one. There cannot be two different kind of mind. There cannot be two different primary mind in association with the one mental factor. Or there cannot be two different kind of two different mental factors in association with the one, even if they are of same, like a happy feeling, the happy feeling or happy feeling, the two different kind of happy feeling cannot be in the same. So that's why it's a one substance or distinct substance. They both have to have distinct substance, and that's why they are similar in terms of the substances.
If a different type of feeling arises, another primary mind would have to arise.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To say the primary mind that cognizes and the mental factor that cognizes, because they don't necessarily cognize, right?
Mind and mental factor?
Yeah, like it's not.
또 그래, 네가 또 그래. 네가 이걸 또 외우지 보라. 쌤다 쌤 준 얘기.
말이 샘도 또 말이 뭐다 말이 다 차와도 또 말까지. 가고 마고 다니 가가 또 말이.
그래, 쌤 이걸 또 그랬어.
나 뭐좀 또 그랬어. 뭐좀
또 그랬어.
아니 샘도
또 말하다.
근데 또 그러. 아니 샘도 되게 다 차와는 제 그랬어.
Yeah, so you can say cognize, you can say cognize, because like the primary mind doesn't cognize the feature, but it cognizes the entity. So it cognizes, therefore you can say it cognizes. The same similarly, the mental factor doesn't cognize the entity; it cognizes the feature. So they have different functions, but they both are same in cognizing the object.
So then we're using cognizing differently than we used it when we discussed awarenesses and knowers.
Right? Because you can have non-cognizing.
That's right, yeah.
Right, so we're using it differently.
떠올라 많이 해서 샤야. 제막 없어. 제막 다 가서 먼저 로릭 놀나 되는 떠올라 숨다 되는 떠올라 많이 버시세. 어디서든 그냥 내 가가 쳐라서. 그래서 심중이나 그냥 떠올라 밑에 와요 말았어.
저건 말이야.
심중 자장 떠올라
말만. 재미는 너무 빠고 너무만 보여.
그래.
대자고 말했어. 샘비는 떠올라 고 말했어.
나 뒤산에다 그 율도교 말았어 그랬어.
샘주 관계 또 말했어 내가 맞다. 근데 영행하다 군종하다 영행하다 동행이 잘했어.
So yeah, of course, it's not same in every kind of mental factors. There are different kinds, right? So when you talk about the the 5 object ascertainment mental factors, and they all cognize the object.
Right.
And so you can't apply to all of them, but there are some which and there are some like the secondary delusions.
Right.
Delusions don't cognize the objects. So you can say that there's 20 secondary delusions which are mental factor also, but they don't cognize the objects.
Okay, and then what are we doing? Just don't kind of this is what we just was.
So it's a little bit clear now.
The choose young look some of them, choose some of them, they were a giant murder, they're going to each other.
And so this is something that you have to read again and again and discuss again and again. The more you discuss, the more you understand. Better your understanding becomes, And so this is not something that you can just believe based on faith.
Okay. Tande sosugira choa jetang shiba jetang and hel to tang jine ngadu jagor sena mabu ngadu ka she to mars.
So this is applied in terms of how you generate these minds, right? How you generate these feelings and so forth.
Shengado bena migita amjo nyene pigiti ko yer wa inje. Ina peshana zumana kanza semina namashi jerere ba gose. Shiba cingen je cigi mabu tichu yo mal lares. Te bayda ngado nala mangi wa yongo do was.
So usually, when we say, we can see and we can, hear at the same time, right? And you watch the movie, you look at the scenery and you listen to the dialogues and at the same time. But according to the text, it cannot happen at the same time. So when one is functioning, the other one ceases. And so that's why we have this inattentive, or the mind to which object appears, but it's not ascertained. So that kind of mind exists because of that.
So this is
something that we have to keep on practicing and studying and discussing, and it's not something that you can understand easily like that.
Then, yes.
I don't know if I should ask this tonight or what? I was thinking a lot about what we discussed last night. She's not here to be the opponent, but we talked about the.
No, you didn't come. Their discussion one night. How many hours? 3, 4 hours?
4 hours,
yeah.
That which appears but is not ascertained, and whether or not that type of mind can leave a memory. We had this debate last week with Anya Shui, and she said that you can't leave an imprint on the mind through that. And I was wondering, so that's the most confusing of the 7 is it appears but is not ascertained. So does it appear to the sense organ, or is it appearing to the sense consciousness?
No.
So there was 2 different answers, right? Anishi said you cannot, and Geshe said you can. The mind to which object appears but not ascertained. Usually, it mostly is sense consciousness, but there can be also mental consciousness there.
So when we say not ascertained, do we mean that we don't recognize it?
Yes, not recognized.
So then, I wish she was here so I could do that. But so that in that case, can you generate a memory of something?
You can talk to her.
Yes.
She can represent any issue.
I wonder if we had precisely defined imprint, because now you're saying memory.
Well, that's the thing.
We're talking about imprints.
Because there's the imprint she acknowledged, which is action, which was like the fly.
So imprint cannot be left? Cannot leave imprint?
Yeah, does the object that appears but is not ascertained, does the object leave an imprint, even though it's not ascertained?
The mind, it doesn't leave imprint in your mind, right?
Right.
Same about the shadow. Yeah, you can have a different degree of imprints.
Right.
So if you did it attentionally, then maybe more.
지간도 안에 자와지 배제 쪽에 가려야 먹으지 더 그때는 고대를 근데 먹어도 신이
뭐고?
제모 아니 마치 아니 지금
로이니.
지금 뭐지 뭐지 안 돼서 그것도 다 고대하면 개개 고요 말이야 가이가 와와와와 고개도 맨날 고대 바샤 잘하거든.
So Geshe-la's reason was, you might have heard this story, right? Like Vasubandhu used to recite all the canons, like of scriptures. He recite every day. I mean, that was like story of him sitting in a cauldron filled with oil, and by the time when he finished reading, his body will have absorbed all the oils in his body. So anyway, so when he's reading this, there's a bird. The bird, it is hearing it. It doesn't have any recognition, right? It doesn't understand any words, and it's just hearing it. Then in the next life, the bird was born as a human being, and then became Vasubandhu's the disciple, and he was able to memorize all these canons of text very easily. So that's because of that, because of that imprint that the bird had got, when he was listening to his chanting.
I think also Geshe was defining it differently than she is, because Geshe says it does appear, but you don't know what it is, you don't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like what she was saying was, it appears, but you don't even know that you heard it. So that seems more like almost as if it didn't even appear at all.
So it appears, but not heard it.
Yeah, like the noise in the background.
Yeah, you hear it, but you don't understand. You don't understand any meaning.
Yeah. So in that case, can you formulate a memory? Because we're also talking about how does a memory get formulated to leave an imprint.
연주를 주 고여 다트 고여 갈라 고여 말아.
세부 고여 말아.
세부 다트 갈면 고여 말아. 그 다트 갈라면 저 고여 말아.
나는 그걸 빼줘 능인데 걸다 세부 고여 알다.
근데 그 드라마죠. 빼셔서 고여 말아.
맞다. 다트 세부 고여라.
대대 고여. 대 가래. 내가 해야 고 다트 고여. 그 다트 메다 갈라 고여 말아. 네 무용 따는 비기도. 지지지나. 아차가 길러 봐.
고여 말아.
드라고여.
세부 고여 말아.
세세메세 그만 고 나고 같이 망해버 거. 고고고.
다 고고 때 있는 다 세부 고고면서 거 망해버라.
대다 세마세 계속 받아 가지고 마고 와서 가지.
네.
나고.
So again, when this is appeared but not ascertained, what does it mean exactly, right? So like for the example usually given is like when you're watching a movie, somebody passes by, right? And like you have, you could have you kind of saw the person passing by, but you didn't see it clearly, right? So you didn't see it clearly, so therefore you couldn't recognize who the person was, right? And so in that case, it has to have a clear vision or clear hearing, whatever it is, right? So when you have that clear, then you will know it. But if you don't have that clear vision or clear voice, then you will not understand. So you will not know what person is saying if you didn't hear it clearly. You will not see if you will not know the person if he didn't see the person clearly. So there has to be some kind of clear appearance, right, of the object for it to be not to not to be the appearing but not ascertained.
The thing I wanted to ask too last time was, have you ever had a memory of something you saw but did not recognize? And if that's the case, then you can leave an imprint through memory based on this.
So you can't, if you saw it but it was not clear, can you still have the memory of that? You have a memory of unclear thing, but you will not have the memory of that person.
Yeah.
So unclear a vision of that person, but you cannot have the a memory of that person.
You just have a memory of what appeared, but you don't actually know what it was.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
So do you still do that?
that's a possibility, that leaves room for a potential imprint.
So Geshe is saying yes, you still
I
give
agree with
imprint.
Geshe.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to me?
Okay. Anyway, read this more. Okay. Don't just believe. Okay. We have to more discussion. No, this I'm serious. Because ngelasu there is some commerce. Think also yanju chundo they don't drive a pay in the law. In the door, the towers.
So like, when you say, don't just believe it, it's like just because I said, Geshe said, it's like that. You should not think like that, You have to read the text and then, do the discussions and then make it clear yourself like that. Not because somebody said it like that.
Okay. Okay, then we stop here. Dal tumanji dang azu semjung apchang aching kon mando. Yes, tambo semjung tambo ngate semjung ngapching karo. Ngate kundong ngate lord semjung sarwa. Shuma.
So that's about it this time, right? Okay, so next time we're going to go with the 51 mental factors. So the first group of 51 mental factors is 5 omnipresent mental factors. So memorize them first.
Okay.
Memorize what the 5 what the 5 numbers, yeah. And then we can
ngapching aching so
the 5 omnipresent mental factors, yeah. What are the 5 omnipresent?
yingenga kundonga ani jo tanyo tu nyenye she gawachi de kaka yo so group
So
kaka.
there are many different groups, right? So for the 5 omnipresent mental factors, then 5 object ascertaining mental factors, and then there's 11 virtues, 6 root delusions, 20 secondary delusions, and 4 variable factors, like that.
Okay.
So we have to memorize all this?
Yeah, but for next one, just the 5 omnipresent mental factors.
Okay.
Numbers, just the numbers, not the whole.
First me remember
Of course,
numbers.
it's good if you can do the whole text, right?
Yeah, they have numbers, yeah. yingenga kundonga dinana chozo dinay면 goda 싸워야 오이도. chozo 뭐 얘는
무슨 남이도 싸워도 믿어.
알 싸워도 돼.
싸워도 믿어.
Then do was same yella shepana sosum yella jupana nubashara shepasha that senjung ngawondos senjung koda shobana kundan doshi shawashi yengengana that number muba trimata tindin sharap namawa.
So again, now the good thing about it in the Tibetan is that we have verses, so you can just memorize the verse, and then it'll be easier. Yeah. But in English, you don't have that, so that's difficult.
Okay.
You have to go one by one.
Try to memorize this.
Where's the verse though? There's the Shantideva's verse in the text.
In that
In
text,
English.
in different texts, not in this one, right?
No,
In this one?
The one that talks about the 20 and the 6 and the 4.
Oh yeah, is here?
From the Bodhisattva.
Good. You look, you read good.
I remember it, but I remember.
That's good. Yeah, even that good.
I saw it, but I did not execute it.
That is good. Okay. Even they memorize that. Okay.
Yeah, that's different verses. Now the one that we have in the Tibetan text is
Different verse,
different. It's just focusing on those mental factors.
But doesn't matter if you're different words. You can
We can still, memorize.
memorize. Okay. It's good for any times. Okay. Then we stop. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. You come back. But you guys very good debate last week. On that. Okay. Thank you. Do a little short play.
Okay, turn to page 37. 39, sorry, top of 39. Saji pake joksheng metok drum, re rappling jini de yempati, sange jing du make te uargi, joko nam dak jing la chupar shok. Jetsun la me kutse rapten ching, nam katring ne chok chu gya padang, lo sang tempe trun me sasum gi, jo we mun sel tak tu ne gyor chi. Idam guru ratna mandala kam niryatayami. Just a long life prayers or Tseten Kappa? Tseten Kappa, the Lama prayer, or just the long life prayers? Long life prayers. So bottom page 43, Short long life prayer for His Holiness. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenre Zig remain in life till samsara ascend. Page 49. Short long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Dup to chang jing jam gong gyao wei tenzin gyong bao wei kun zo do por ze jok sum kur wei lek mun tu dru wa dak so du je kun du jak ten shu. Bottom page 57. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Bottom of page 75, mix them up. Mig me te wei de chen chen rei zig dri me kyam bei wang po jam pel yang gang chen kei pei tu gian song ka pa lop sang drak pe jab la so wat.
Thank you, everyone.
I'll make my announcements. First announcement, again, thank you very much to everyone who helped over the past weekend. I know we dropped the Venerable Dechen and Geshe off at the airport, and they were very, very, very happy. So thank you very much for everyone. And then we've got this coming Saturday. Am I okay with it? Yeah, it's not beeping. This coming Saturday at 10 a.m. Geshe, is it 10 a.m.? Yes. At 10 a.m. Geshe has a special 1-hour talk, family-friendly teaching. So kids, teenagers, if you know of people who want to just bring their kids for introduction, it'd be wonderful to invite people. It's on our website. I'll send out a reminder email as well. So, and Tara has kindly been the one organizing that for us. Then I think our next big thing is Venerable Thupten Chodron in April. So we're starting to get the sign-up genius sheet will be coming out shortly, and we'll need help with hosting, etc. And I think that's it for tonight. And we've got our board is now offerings of service. So as always, every little piece of paper we pick up is one of us, and every single piece of paper you pick up is it's to serve the Dharma and to serve Geshe, and that's a huge amount of merit. So thanks everyone. Thanks so much, Geshe. Thanks, Damcho.
Thank you.
배